today, the Republicans voted on our first major bill. That's why it's called H.R. 1. It's like our biggest priority, and it's called Lowering Energy Costs Act, like pretty simple name. So the entire point of this bill is to really stop the attacks from the Biden administration on oil and gas, promote our ability to mine for critical minerals, to drill for oil and gas, to export more gas around the world, and also just streamline our environmental permitting processes, which sometimes has nothing to do with oil and gas. Sometimes that means making it easier to build solar farms and wind farms and transmission lines and bridges and roads, all of the things we actually need. Now, the Democrats are freaking out about this. Now, look at some of these clips.
Republicans are putting polluters over people.
I rise in strong opposition to H.R. 1, which should be called the Polluters Over People Act.
This bill, the Polluters Over People Act, is bad for the environment, bad for the U.S. economy.
Every day that Republicans dither, delay, and distract us, every day they feed the ignorance about the climate crisis, the nearer we come to a tipping point from which we can never recover.
It's almost as if you gave a pen to an oil lobbyist and wrote down everything that they'd want.
A bill that wraps climate denial and corporate giveaways into one tidy, toxic package as the world burns.
And H.R. 1 can literally kill us.
Now, I did the painful part for you. I actually sat and watched all of that rhetoric and all of those comments and speeches made. And I noticed something. They never had a specific complaint against this bill. Not one. I don't think any of them have actually read it. I think what they did was just listen to their far-left climate activist groups and told them to say, polluters over people. Well, here's the thing. People actually need energy. Energy security is a key element of prosperity. It's involved in everything we do. If you're mad about inflation, well, energy is a key element of that. If there's high energy costs, it affects everything. It affects your food. It affects the clothes you wear. It affects your grocery prices. Look, natural gas, by the way, is used to make fertilizer. Oil is used to make gasoline, which is used to transport food. So if you're mad about your food prices being so high, you should look at energy costs. So that's what this bill does. And it's pretty common sense. It's actually very mild. I'm looking through a lot of the provisions right now, especially the ones that come from my committee. Makes it easier to export natural gas, right? Puts timelines on permitting for pipelines, things like that. Repeals some of the additional taxes that were levied on the oil and gas companies that make it, less profitable to invest in new production and therefore put prices down. Just really common sense stuff. A lot of this is geared towards making it easier to mine for critical minerals. The kind of critical minerals that we all need, whether you want to build solar panels and wind turbines, iPhones, or defense products, whatever it is. It's just things we need as a society. And of course, NEPA reform, which means environmental permitting reform that allows us to build everything that we say we want, like infrastructure. None of this has a detrimental effect on the environment. Right, there's a common misconception on the left. They think that if one environmental regulation is good, then 10 more must be better. We understand that there has to be some balance in the system, and that balance is out of whack. It shouldn't take us 10 years to build a transmission line that only spans like 100 miles, but that's exactly what it takes right now. It shouldn't take 15 years to build a nuclear power plant, but that's exactly what happens right now. Look, we're just trying to do some common sense things for Americans. Lower your energy costs, which lower all your costs. See which Democrats vote against this and ask for specifics as to why they did it. That's the truth.